It's 1 o'clock. Welcome back. It's hour number 4 of Three Man Front. A lot of coaching carousel discussion today. What's going on with Lane Kiffin over in Oxford? Really no new news today in regards to Lane Kiffin. Still kind of a wait-and-see attitude. We've already talked to Brett Norsworthy. If you missed that interview from WHBQ Radio, the Ole Miss Radio Network, you can download the Three Man Front podcast. Coming up at 1:30, we will see what's going on the Florida side of things. This is David Waters from the Gators Breakdown podcast will join us. Give us the latest lowdown on the Gator search.
Decision 2025. Where does Lane Kiffin decide to go? The text line is open, 205-834-9450. Drake is a very concerned Florida fan. He's a great Jocks listener. He chimes in every day. And he says, you guys are saying Lane to LSU. Whoa. Not saying Lane to LSU. Just reporting what people have said on this show, that the likelihood that he's going to Florida doesn't seem that likely, and that if he were to leave Oxford, it would be for LSU. That coming from Brett Norsworthy that joined us in the 12 o'clock hour, or the 11 o'clock hour, excuse me. You can go back and find it at the podcast. But he goes on to say, everyone else in ESPN people are saying Florida is in the driver's seat. I don't know what's going on. A lot of conflicting information. Because, Pat, you've heard things that we haven't reported here on the air concerning Lane Kiffin and possibly Florida. Just from a personality standpoint, it seems like to me that Gainesville would be the better fit, but I don't know. I never really saw Lane Kiffin in Oxford for 6 years.
Well, I think Oxford was the perfect location for Lane Kiffin, where Lane Kiffin was in his life in regards to his mental health, his physical health, his emotional health, with his situation with his familial situation, with his divorce to his wife, who's the mother of his children. So I think Oxford was a perfect location for him. It was either that or Fayetteville, Arkansas, so he ended up choosing Oxford. I went past Big Whiskey's last night over there off of 280, Molly, and great new location over there.
Well, I was going to say Lane Kiffin has a decision, but you do too, and that decision is where to go this weekend to enjoy all of the great football games. You should check out Big Whiskey's. They have a full menu ranging from apps, salads, burgers to steaks. And like I said, they have plenty of screens so that you can catch all the games all weekend long, Friday night all through Saturday. The kitchen is open late. Also, with school back in and the holidays coming up, you have a lot going on, so let Big Whiskey's do the work as they offer online ordering and curbside pickup. Like Pat said, right off of Highway 459 at Highway 150, right by the Hoover Met.
Back to the phone lines, 800-239-WJOX, 205-834-9450 on the text line. This one coming from the state of Mississippi on the Jocks app, and it says, to answer your question, Landrum, Mississippi has been referred to as the SIP way before Lane Kiffin was ever relevant.
I mean, I figured it had been. Maybe he just popularized it. I don't know.
Yeah, so come to the SIP. That's been something that he's put out there on social media. He's said
He did create the Portal King, though.
Portal King.
That was his.
Jimmy says if he went to LSU, fetch the red stick.
Come to the stick. There you go. But see, then I could, well, yeah. Fitting for Lane Kiffin, though. Very on brand, if we're being honest.
Joe in Birmingham, do you think Lane Kiffin would have had the same success at Arkansas that he did at Ole Miss? That's a very good question.
I'm going to say no, just because I don't know if they would have made... I don't know that they would have made the same financial commitment in terms of giving him everything that he asked for like Ole Miss has. Because they seem to have kind of gone all in on basketball and not so much football. I will say, watching Taylon Green play for Lane Kiffin, though, that would be pretty fun.
Kevin from Gadsden, Mr. Sax Appeal, we appreciate you, Kevin, says Lane can use the phrase, come to the Lou, because he can't use the term come to the U.
Oh, like Louisiana? Okay, yeah.
Come to the stick?
I thought...
Thank you, Conrad. Collins from Pell City also agrees with you.
I thought he said...
Let's go ahead and eliminate. Let's eliminate that one, and let's start with something else. It's a good idea until we said it out loud. Is that fair?
I still like it personally.
Fat Joe said, "Come to the place where the fans sip all day."
He liked your comment.
It was the best that I could do on the fly.
No, commendable job by you.
Howie if my Aggies win and Alabama wins, they go to the SEC championship. So if Alabama loses a close game, do they make the playoff? The Aggies win in a blowout. Does Alabama go into the playoffs with 3 losses? What y'all's think? Thank you. So if Alabama loses a close game in the SEC championship, that would give them their 3rd loss. I think they're still in. Bad precedent, in my opinion, for the committee to set with a team that you, as it stands right now, you think that they're worthy of the college football playoff, but then they go and play another team that you view is worthy of the college football playoff that is currently ranked ahead of them, and they lose in a very close game. I find it hard to believe that you put in somebody else over that team.
Yeah, now let's say it's, Texas A&M wins, 35-17, and it's one of those games where Alabama scores a late touchdown to make it look maybe a little better than it was in reality.
Ty Simpson looks bad.
Yeah, I don't think you're in at that point. I don't think it's as simple as get there and win. But, I mean, again, based on what we've seen from Alabama, we haven't seen anybody just absolutely blow them out except, I mean, I guess maybe you consider Florida State a 14-point blowout.
What if, Conrad, and we'll just go back to the Florida State example from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
What if Ty Simpson wins the Iron Bowl, then he gets hurt, season-ending injury.
And they lose the SEC championship?
Yeah.
Oh, you're out. You're out.
Just throwing out potential scenarios.
Yeah, nope, you're fair point. Yeah, I don't think you'd be in.
Someone asking to board of Penn State, Lane to Bama? Question mark. Emoji scratching chin.
Nope.
Rubbing chin, whatever.
Not gonna
unless
happen.
you're Lane Kiffin and you're looking for that type of drama and press, you don't need to fly to these places and have these interviews with these people. Did we not learn anything 5 years ago during the pandemic? It's called Teams. It's called Zoom. Everyone's got FaceTime on their phone.
You're telling me Lane Kiffin doesn't know what's in Baton Rouge or Gainesville, Florida?
No, he's never been there, Conrad.
No, never.
Ever.
Right,
He has never.
Landry's
ever
never been there
to
either.
Florida.
She
I would
didn't
believe
wake
that for
up at
Gainesville.
2:30 in the morning and pound energy drinks to drive 7 hours to see the love of her life, that mustache man named Whit Weeks.
No, wait a second. He did go to Gainesville. Remember last year when he got embarrassed
Oh, that's
and
right.
knocked Ole
they
Miss out of the
lost.
college football playoff? Molly was there.
Let's say I was there. I witnessed it firsthand.
I do appreciate him falling on his face at Tiger Stadium last year.
Oh, yeah, that one didn't work out.
That was
for
the
you.
cross-out bet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Randy says, I'm as tired of hearing Lane Kiffin's name as much as Diego Pavia this year. Geez, RTR, vomit emoji.
So Lane Kiffin takes the LSU job and Diego Pavia transfers to LSU. That sounds like that's what that guy's looking for.
Justin says, Bayou from the Bayou, like B-U-I or B-U-Y, Bayou.
Okay, yeah.
I'm tired of speculating where Lane will go. The real question is, where is the best fit for Joey Freshwater? Does he still have his alter ego? Or does he just go as Lane in Oxford?
I think it's just he's Lane.
He's Lane now. He's left that behind him, Landrum.
Actually, I think his real name's Monty. Is it not? I think he's named after his dad.
I do know he was born in
Really?
Lincoln, Nebraska.
That he was.
And he's always said, if mama ever calls.
He's going to Nebraska?
Nah, I just thought, get a reaction from Molly. She didn't really react.
Lane is his name. It's Lane Monty Kiffin.
Okay.
That's his middle name,
Okay.
Monty.
Okay.
He was born in 76,
75.
75.
Yep.
What was his birth weight?
7 pounds, 3 ounces. He was 27 inches long.
Impressive.
I just made that up. I have no idea.
Jake says the state with dirty air sure needs some fresh water. Hashtag Lane to LSU.
That's good.
That's funny.
Kiffin to the Dolphins. Tua runs the same offense as he did at Bama.
Yeah, I guess the whole Giants thing is maybe not going to happen because that was kind of a hot thing for a couple of days there, but I guess New York's looking for someone else.
Corey says the AU job seems to not be talked about as much as Florida and LSU. Do you guys think it's because they have their guy not as appealing, or the Lane Kiffin? I think it's the Lane buzz to Florida and LSU that's going to dominate the headlines, but I do think that Auburn has their guy.
I was about to say, it's the same reason you're not hearing a whole lot about Penn State or Arkansas or any of these other jobs. And I think Auburn's a better job than those, but if you're not attached to Lane Kiffin right now, that's all anybody wants to talk about.
I get the sneaky suspicion that Arkansas and Penn State are not real clear the direction that they're going. I feel a lot more confident with John Cohen. I can always have to come back and say I was wrong.
Well,
But
I think the Arkansas people were really maybe thinking that James Franklin was going to come to fruition, and now that he's off the board, it feels like maybe they're left scrambling. But there's a coach in South Florida that I think would be an excellent addition in Fayetteville.
Well, here's the thing. His CEO of South Florida Athletics last night.
Oh, yeah, they're having their love affair on Twitter.
Yep, Rob Higgins. He posted last night that Coach Golish's representatives and I continue to have a lot of great conversations, and both they and Coach Golish know how fully invested we are long-term for the future of South Florida. We won't discuss the details of those conversations publicly. We all appreciate how totally clocked in Coach Golish has stayed on the program and student athletes throughout this season, despite what a lot of false reports that continue to circulate online suggest. Go Bulls.
Oh, okay.
So the CEO of South Florida Athletics, he's not an athletics director. He is a CEO of South Florida. He says a bunch of rumors on the internet.
There's a bunch of rumors. Would you rather stay at South Florida or go to Oklahoma State? Hey, if you're goalless, you got a $110 million athletic budget, which is more than double a lot of the schools in your own conference.
I'd much rather live in South Florida than Stillwater.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'd stay at USF.
Got a new stadium coming?
And ultimately, do you have to get the Oklahoma State job to get an SEC job? The answer is no.
No, absolutely.
Well, and it feels like it could be like a John Summerall type thing of, all right, wait it out for another 2 years, and then you'll have maybe your pick of the litter of some pretty appealing jobs.
Well, Auburn will be open again. So, you know. Well, that's
when
just
is this?
based on average.
Well, the last few years, yes.
Yeah.
You're correct.
I mean,
Third time's the charm, Pat. Post Gus Malzahn.
This is it. This is
the
Gus
one.
Malzahn. This one's going to
They've been close, but this is the one.
Yep.
More text coming in. Oh, thank you, Michael. He texted in, remember when JT Daniels was the greatest quarterback to ever play college football?
Man,
yes,
I missed that
do.
turtleneck.
A turtleneck, man.
It was a dickie. It wasn't a full turtleneck. It was just a dickie.
To remind you, JT Daniels in his travels, USC, Georgia, West Virginia, Rice.
And he almost went to Oregon State.
Oregon State,
Yep.
when his dad tried to arrange
A personal chef.
the personal chef for the outfitted, really nice place for not only JT, but I think the whole family to live.
Because wasn't that the year that they ended up with Uwe Ungalale instead of
Yes, it is.
JT?
Who won on that one?
Well, that year Oregon State did.
Yeah, he was actually pretty good that year for Oregon.
Because he
State.
parlayed that into a
He did.
outstanding
the Florida State
job
deal.
at Florida
A
State.
very lucrative deal that did not bring the rate of return that Florida State fans would have liked.
I was about to say, we've had some bust at quarterback this year. We have not had a DJ Uwe Ungalale level bust, though, this year.
Yep.
No?
We will continue with your texts. We will also do some Pat Ponders. Bottom of the hour, we will go to Florida, find out the very latest on the Florida search. This is Three Man Front on a Thursday. At the bottom of the hour, we'll go to Gainesville, Florida. We'll talk to our good friend David Waters from the Gators Breakdown podcast. He did an emergency podcast last night talking about the ongoing rumors and things happening with the Florida football program. So he'll join us, give us the very latest in about 11 minutes. We have been so busy this week, we have not had an opportunity to do some Pat Ponders. So let's do that. And it's brought to you each and every day by our good friends at Courtesy GMC in Trussville.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
You need to get by Courtesy GMC in Trussville, just like Fat Joe did and his daughter. They went out there. They were looking for a brand new GMC with the best prices anywhere in the Southeast. They did their homework. They did their legwork. They looked around, and they ended up there in Trussville because they had the best deals that you're going to find anywhere in the Southeast on a brand new GMC. So take advantage all month long of the Black Friday sales event. Deals galore on brand new 2026s. Some remaining 2025s are on the lot. 9 acres of inventory waiting for you. If you can't get by and see them off of I-459 exit 32, you can always go online at courtesybirmingham.com, but you will not be disappointed, I promise you, if you just make that short drive there to Trussville, Courtesy GMC, right off of I-459 exit 32. All right, let's get to Ponders. And before we get to the questions, I want to revisit something we discussed last Friday. If you remember, I asked you guys, Oklahoma, 4th best defense against the run, tied, averaging 64 yards over their last 2 games before the Oklahoma game. I asked, what rushing total does Alabama need to secure a win tomorrow, if you remember that. And most of you guys said it was going to have to be north of 100.
I think most of us were at like 80 yards or something, like, if I remember correctly.
So Bama went 80. Oklahoma went 74. Just a reminder. And the other question I threw out there, I said, how many of these quarterbacks throw for over their average on Saturday? I said Arch Manning at 236, John Mateer 243, or Ty Simpson 273. And of those 3, 2 of the 3 went above their average. The only one that didn't was John Mateer, and he won.
Yeah.
Arch Manning didn't win and Ty Simpson didn't win. And they threw over their average. Just wanted to bring that back up. But question number 1 for today. What should Ole Miss administration do about the CFP if Lane Kiffin does not sign a contract extension in Oxford before the Egg Bowl? Asking about the CFP if they do not get his new signature on a new contract before the Egg Bowl.
Well, you don't know ultimately what he's going to do, and that's got to be uncomfortable if he wants to coach in the CFP. And I was the other side. I said get out. But now, if you're going to wait that long, or if you're willing to entertain him coaching through that, just think about all that time that you're missing if he chooses to leave. Now, that would be for whoever's hiring him too, but early signing period. But now at this point, yeah, let him go ahead and do it, because when there's no guarantees, maybe you go back to being just a mediocre SEC football program if he leaves. If the fans are for it, if you're hearing from your fan base, the people who have put all the money in the coffers, that they want to see how far this Ole Miss team can go with Lane Kiffin, even if he leaves, then let him do it. But I think you listen to your customers, and that's your supporters. So if Ole Miss people are saying, no, get out, then Keith Carter's got to listen to them.
I'm kind of along that same train of thought, except I would go.
It's really tough.
And I would. It is tough because you're kind of going off vibes right now, right? What is your gut telling you in terms of what his future is? I would go to the players. Straight up, I would go to the players, and I would call them all together, and I would say, all right, y'all have an opportunity to have a very special season here, but we're going to leave it up to y'all. Do you want Lane Kiffin, who has led you this far, to continue to be your head coach, or do y'all want to go ahead and start this new era? And, you know, the leadership in this room right now is what's going to have to propel you in the college football playoff. That's how I would personally want to handle it, because if I was a player, I have to imagine there's a lot that are pretty split on Lane Kiffin. And the last thing you want is a team going into the playoffs with a coach that the players have a disdain for and don't want to play hard.
But what if you're one of those key players that he's already talked to, and he said, hey,
True.
I want you to come with me to Baton Rouge or Gainesville when this is all said and done?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
No, it's definitely a vibe check. I probably would let him continue on because on the flip side of that, it's who would if he doesn't. And what if he ultimately decides, maybe I do want to stay, even if he hasn't signed the contract yet?
Okay. All right. Question number 2.
I mean, I knew that Freddie Freeman was leaving after that World Championship year, but I still celebrated him.
Yeah.
In the World Series.
Well, Albert Pujols did the same thing, won the World Series, and then went to the Angels the next season.
This is different, though. I was trying to compare. It's weird. It's Lane.
It is.
Question number 2. The circle of parity in the SEC is happening before our eyes. Alabama beats Georgia, then Georgia beats Texas. Texas beat Oklahoma, who beat Alabama. So I want you guys to rank right now these teams from strongest to weakest: Bama, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma. How do you rank them?
Georgia, Bama, Oklahoma, then Texas.
That's exactly how I would rank them as well.
Because
Texas
I
is
do
definitely
think
last.
Alabama, at their best on offense and defense, is pretty dang good. Oklahoma, their offense has not impressed me all season.
Mm-mm.
Injuries or not, just hasn't. Because we heard all of this about John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle coming in. Georgia has been steady Eddie and getting better, it seems like, since the Alabama game.
I think Georgia is playing the best right now, and you already know people are, well, Oklahoma just beat Alabama. How could you have them ahead of them?
Understand
Well,
that.
Alabama beat Georgia, but Georgia's playing better football right now, so that's why you would have them ahead of Alabama. And I'll just go back. This would be my final thought on the Alabama-Oklahoma debate. I believe if you played that game again this weekend, in same situation, Oklahoma won last weekend, you played the same game again in Bryant-Denny Stadium, Alabama would be favored by more than they were last week. Because teams saw, oh my God, if they don't turn the ball over, they were going to win that game by 3 touchdowns. So,
And the fact that Oklahoma's offense, even on short fields, they could not do a lot.
Correct. So yeah, I'm going to go Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas. Best to worst.
All right, next question. The brand new College Sports Commission recently sent out to schools a 10-page agreement telling them they need to sign it over the next 2 weeks. Schools will be required to waive the right to challenge future punishments in court. So this new College Sports Commission, if they slap you with whatever it is, probation, lack of scholarships, no bowl game, you cannot take them to court. Now, the new enforcement agency of college sports will have more power than the NCAA has had in the past. So the question is, of the 68 schools that make up the Power Four, do you believe how many, if any, will not sign their letter of intent to be a part of this new organization?
I could see some that hold out longer than others, mainly private schools. So I think that there will be some, but I think it'll be just a few. I think the majority know that there needs to be oversight. There needs to be enforcement. You got to have somebody watching that wall. As crazy as it is, you got to have checks and balances start somewhere.
Yeah, see, I was thinking like 10 to 15%, so that'd be, 6 to 10 schools that would maybe go, all right, I'm not sure about this, but I think the overwhelming majority will be on board with it.
I think most of them will.
I'm like Landrum. There's going to be a few that's probably going to
I'm going to raise the stink.
Test the waters.
Yep. And it'll be a president like a Gordon Gee or somebody that comes out.
But for them to make you sign a document now and say, don't even think about it, you can't take us to court. So if we slap your university,
by the way,
with whatever,
given what we've seen in the last 3 years, great starting point there with a contract.
Yeah. All right, final question today comes courtesy of BB. She writes, do you enjoy going to the zoo, and what zoo is the best you visited? What is your favorite exhibit when you go to the zoo?
I do love going to the zoo. I like to go into, I like the snake exhibit. I really do, because it's creepy, and they've got snakes that you generally don't see on the Cahaba, like an anaconda. Poisonous snakes, too.
Wait, there's no anacondas on the Cahaba?
Well, not anymore. They've been eradicated. That roundup we had a couple of years ago.
Oh, gotcha.
But no, it's that exhibit. I used to love as a kid on those hot days. You'd be there with your family, usually your mom during the day in the summertime, and you'd be maybe with her friend and then your buddies. And then I can just remember going to the Birmingham Zoo and it'd be hot, just really hot.
And then
Mom would tell me you can't have another drink.
But then you would want to go into the exhibits.
I would want to always Monkey Island or the Seals, where they were in that cool, refreshing water that looks so nice. I see why kids jump into those exhibits. Don't do it.
I guess so. Yeah, I like the zoo as well. I would also like to say aquariums are superior to zoos. But anyways, as far as zoo go, the gorilla, orangutan, anything in that realm, when they come up to the glass, like that's the stuff that's cool. Is when you can tell that they're coming and trying to interact with you on a human level. That part is always really, really cool. So yeah, I'd go gorilla, orangutan exhibits.
I'm not just saying this because I lived there for 4 years, but the Omaha Zoo is truly, I think, one of the best in the country. It's awesome. And I always love the giraffe exhibits. Like when we lived in Michigan, we go to the Detroit Zoo quite a bit, and they had the section where you could feed the giraffes. And I always loved that when I was a kid.
Very cool.
Have you seen the cheetahs? You haven't. Molly's seen them.
Oh,
now.
I love the cheetahs.
My wife's hooked on this live feed of the cheetahs at the Smithsonian Zoo.
And now I am as well.
Only 7,000 cheetahs left in the wild. It's a cute family.
That one, the cheetah in Atlanta is still there, right, Conrad? That's today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC.
That'd be interesting if they had a live 24-hour webcam on that one.
Yeah, you had to probably pay for that, though. That would not be free.
Ugh.
Conrad's acting like he didn't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Took me a second.
Okay, there you go. All right, we're going to go down to Florida next. Hear from David Waters from the Gators Breakdown podcast. What's going on with their job search? This is 3-Man Front on Jocks.
135, David Waters, Gators Breakdown, going to join us momentarily. Got Prize Picks coming up tonight. Prize Picks, it's the best play for fantasy sports users. America's #1 fantasy sports app. Join millions of users just like me and join Prize Picks today. It's simple to play. Pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get the picks right, you could cash in tonight. We will go professional ranks when it comes to football. Josh Allen and the Bills taking on Houston and Davis Mills. Josh Allen, the player projection from Prize Picks, 221.5 passing yards. More or less?
More.
Going more there. How about Davis Mills, Houston quarterback? 212.5 passing yards. More or less?
Less.
All right. So we're going more and then less. If we hit on both of those, we're a winner. You can be a winner too. Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WJOX. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WJOX. The $50 in lineups after the first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline to give us the very latest of what's going on with the coaching search down in Florida for the Florida Gators. David Waters from the Gators Breakdown podcast joins us now on Three Man Front. I know it's been a crazy, especially last 24 hours, David. Do you have any update at all? Like, what is the very latest that you could tell us today in regards to the coaching search?
It is still Lane Kiffin until it's not. It's just gonna be where it is till we hear official word. I don't. You hear it from every angle. You hear it from the Florida angle. You hear it from the Ole Miss angle. You hear it from the LSU angle. You hear it from neutral observer angle, and you hear good, you hear bad when you talk to every one of those angles. So I still firmly believe it's a 3-team race right now. And I know we've gotten word that there's a meeting between AD at Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin tomorrow. We'll see if anything comes out of that. But as far as I know, and talking to people that I know and trust, Florida is still firmly in this. Any talk of falling behind or being ghosted by Kiffin is uncategorically true. Is what's being told to me. So I think we're setting up for 24 hours from now. I think we're setting up for a pretty crazy time, given that meeting is tomorrow between Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. So from the Florida perspective, I still think there's some optimism in the building that they get this done. And going back to yesterday and about 24 hours ago, when it started getting even crazier, we had reports of John Summerall meeting with Florida, and who leaked that? Where did it come from? Did it come from the Florida angle? Did it come from the agent world? Did it come from Auburn or Ole Miss? And who knows? But one thing I can take away from that is not a serious candidate at Florida. Maybe down the road if Florida misses on a few prospects, but I think Summerall will be probably at another job by that point. So it was not, to me, ever really anything that serious as far as a meeting with John Summerall tomorrow. So it's still Lane Kiffin until it's not, and then we'll see where Florida pivots if it's not him.
All right, what from what you've been able to gather, what's the monetary amount? What are the assurances that Lane Kiffin will be given if he becomes the Florida head coach?
What I've been told on that regard is Florida will not be outbid. And that is a contract, that is NIL, however angle monetarily you want to go. It has been expressed to me Florida will not be outbid. So it is at, I think 13.5 to 15 mil a year. Now I'll tell you some things, I have heard as far as some fight back on some length of contract. Maybe Kiffin kind of not wanting to go more than 5 years, and then, see where it goes from there as far as maybe even having some future NFL options. And I've heard, the ridiculous 10-year contract. So as far as the length of time, I have heard some differing opinions on that. But as far as the money side of it and everything, Florida just will not be, the vibe I get is Florida will not be outbid.
Okay, so let's just play this out. Let's say that Lane Kiffin decides he's staying put. He's not going to LSU. He's not coming to Florida. What are the legitimate names you believe personally that would be in the mix for Scott Strickland to pivot to next after Lane Kiffin?
I'll go Brent Key and Lincoln Riley.
Okay.
That's the two names I'll go with for that one. Lincoln Riley. And now here's the thing: if Lane stays at Ole Miss,
okay,
then I think we're going to have another battle between Florida and LSU for Lincoln Riley. That's how I see that going. And from everybody I've talked to there on the Bayou, that he may be in play there as well, and he may be their second candidate if they do not get Lane Kiffin. So it could be another SEC coaching battle here. And then first, does Lincoln Riley want to leave USC? But there's some thought that he may. And then you throw in Florida and LSU into that mix. Brent Key, mentioned him, and I still think you have to, because you hear the name entirely too much, and it could be another Florida LSU battle, and that's Eli Drinkwitz. No matter what report, no matter who you talk to, that name still sticks with the Florida search and the LSU search, and I think even the Auburn search a little bit as well. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But if I had to give a list of the next three names, with James Franklin being taken off the board, that's where I would go.
How much have you been able to learn about the extent of the conversations, whether those conversations, I'm guessing they've taken place based on you throwing out those names? Georgia Tech's Brent Key. Brent Key has said that he's staying where he is. All these coaches are going to say that at this point.
Yeah.
But he loves Georgia Tech. That's where he wants to be. Supposedly he didn't return a phone call for an interview in one of the job searches. And then Lincoln Riley. How much conversation with those guys, either individually or their representation, do you believe that they've had with Florida folks?
I have reason to believe the word vetted has been around for definitely the Lincoln Riley angle to that. So probably that one as a little more recent than the other guys. I think that Florida's probably already done their due diligence mostly on Brent Key and Eli Drinkwitz. I know there's been reports been thrown out there that Eli has maybe interviewed a couple of times with LSU already. As far as specifics for interviews for Florida, if they've happened, I haven't heard. Florida hasn't gone this long without an interview. I firmly believe that. But as far as how many and if they've, firmly met with Lincoln Riley representation or Eli representation, I have not heard that. I know meetings have happened. There's no way they haven't this late. But as far as specifics of when, where, how many times, and who, I can't answer that.
I know this is a loaded question because you've been on this show a great deal over the last couple of years, and we've talked about the pressure on Scott Strickland. First off, it's odd that he's even been given this opportunity to hire another football coach. But needless to say, what are you hearing in regards to the pressure that he is currently under on getting this one right, especially if you're going big game hunting like he is going after Lane Kiffin?
I will tell you from the fan base a lot.
Right.
And it's, the pressure is ramped up to level 10 as far as Gator Nation goes. I think by some in the building, big boosters, all that, I think so as well. Now, he just signed an extension. Would anything happen if he didn't get Lane Kiffin? Now, I look at it a couple different ways. If he stays at Ole Miss, if Lane stays at Ole Miss, I don't think there's much you can put on Scott Strickland this year. Now, I think you can, if you want to, say, hey, maybe you should have moved on from Billy Napier last year, and it would have been a lot easier to try and go get Lane Kiffin last year. But you decided to hang on to Billy Napier, and now you put yourself in a mess where you got to battle an Ole Miss team that keeps winning with Lane Kiffin, and LSU that has entered the mix. That wouldn't have been the case last year. But now, and then there's a lot of pull for Lane to stay at Ole Miss. But if you let LSU come in with all their things that have happened since Brian Kelly's been fired and having to go find a new AD and the situation that's happened there and how messy it's gotten, if you let another school come in and swoop in Lane Kiffin away from Ole Miss and it not be Florida, I think there has to be repercussions for that.
Good stuff. David, what is the timeline for this? Because Florida can wait as long as they want to. It puts them on an awkward spot, but whether directly or indirectly, when would you believe that Scott Strickland and those making decisions in Gainesville would need an answer from Lane Kiffin?
I think in the next couple of days. I honestly believe it, especially now that the word has come out. There's a meeting tomorrow with Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. I think something probably comes from that. And then I think things start falling in place. So I think getting the info of that information on Friday speeds up maybe getting an answer from Lane Kiffin one way or another. So I say by the end of the weekend, I think we know. I don't know if anything's announced publicly, but I think if you follow close enough, you'll get a good idea of where Florida, LSU, and Ole Miss stand. But I think by the end of the weekend.
All right. So this next question, it's not directed right at you per se, because I'm not asking your opinion. I'm asking because of the people that you interact with around the program, people that you know. What is the confidence level that Lane Kiffin will be the next coach at Florida?
I think the best way to keep describing it is cautious optimism.
Okay.
That seems to be the key phrase that has been thrown around multiple times.
Fair enough.
Any more details on Layla or the visit, the reports that they were in Gainesville or what they were doing around there? Did you hear anything?
That definitely happened Sunday, and it was Layla and Knox. So Layla grew up in Gainesville. They had discussions with the high school that she went to. They're in Gainesville in Buchholz. That's where she went to school, and the head coach at Buchholz, him and Layla went to high school together at Buchholz.
Wow.
So there's a connection there, and that's why some people say, hey, there's angles to it with the family side that Lane Kiffin brings up a lot. When you talk about family, there is connections to the Gainesville area, deep connections to the Gainesville area. So, and from what I could gather too, maybe some of her friends drove up from Tampa, and there was some hanging out going on as well. So hopefully, for on the Florida side, that goes a long way. But yeah, Sunday was a pretty, a day trip in Gainesville to get some things figured out, I think.
Lane Kiffin has talked about his admiration and respect for Steve Spurrier, the old ball coach. How does Steve feel about Lane potentially assuming that role?
Yeah, in some podcasts that we hear around, I think he's on with Pat Dooley and stuff. I mean, the two names Steve Spurrier brings up the most is Lane Kiffin at the top, and he brings up Eli Drinkowitz as the other option. So I'm sure there's something to that from Steve Spurrier as well. But hey, look, there's even some rumors. I don't know, but it's out there a lot that Spurrier has had conversations with Lane about the job. So go from that too. But you can tell when Spurrier does talk about it, Lane's pretty much at the top of his board as well.
That is David Waters. You can follow his work there at the Gators Breakdown podcast. David, appreciate it as always, hopping on with us. I know it's an extremely busy time for you, and we'll be watching and listening very carefully.
And we have a listener, Drake, that said thank you for inviting him to the tailgate this weekend.
Yeah, that's right. He was. We were on YouTube last night and said he listens to me when I'm on with you guys, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna be on there tomorrow.
That's
and
awesome.
You can come tailgate with us on Saturday as well. So,
that is great.
Good stuff, guys.
That is wonderful. Hey, David, thank you as always.
Thanks,
we appreciate
David.
it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. He joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. It's cool. Listeners all over the Southeastern Conference listened to our show and had an opportunity to hang out with David Waters. He was on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
A lot of your texts rolling in. Also, maybe time for the worst thing that Conrad has seen. We'll get to all of that and more as we roll on this Thursday on Three Man Front. 152. It's been a very busy show. We appreciate you joining us on this Thursday. All of our guests, Rodney Orr, Tighter Insider, Brett Norsworthy, boy, he always brings it today. And David Waters, most recently of the Gators Breakdown, the latest on Lane Kiffin and that Florida opening. We appreciate Gator Jared texting in as well, saying, love Gator Dave and the Gators Breakdown. We appreciate you listening, Gator Jared. And cautious optimism is what David Waters just told us about the prospects and the confidence level of the Florida Gators landing one Lane Kiffin. And also quoting David, he said that Florida has said they will not be outbid. NIL, salary, contract, staff pool, any of that, Florida is willing to go top dollar and above anybody else to secure the services of one Lane Kiffin. We see good. We see bad. Conrad has apparently seen something bad. This is the worst thing that Conrad's seen.
This is the worst thing I've seen.
Been in quarantine, and I need to get out and party. Woo! What's better than beach and a few drinks and Jeeps? Man, getting better than that. Law enforcement's definitely made their visitability and made people chill out and not be as crazy. The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.
Where was she yesterday? She's all gravy, baby.
I was about to say this has a new meaning now. I guess I'm all gravy.
She could have had expired sausage gravy.
Yeah, and by the way, somebody owes me a 5-gallon baseball bucket that was used yesterday. It was thrown away.
Nah, you can just wash it out. Oh, they threw it away?
Yeah, they threw it away.
Oh. I didn't. Sorry, pal. I just threw away the pilgrim outfit after we were done.
You threw that away?
That could have been saved, man.
I have the hat.
You didn't wash it?
No.
Oh.
I have the hat.
Great.
I'll bring you the hat.
Is this the Simone Biles story you're about to tell
No,
us?
go ahead.
No, it is not the daggum Simone Biles story. Okay, we're going to have to go through this really fast.
Go through it.
now.
Go through it. Go.
All right, the American dream has turned into a nightmare for travelers. When the holiday travel season ahead, travel insurance provider Berkshire Hathaway has named the safest nations in the world to travel for 2026. The Netherlands are the safest country to travel to in 2026, but the United States has been left off the list entirely. It wasn't biased, though, against America. To compile the list of most traveler-safe nations, Berkshire Hathaway went straight to the horse's mouth and asked 1,800 American travelers to rank the countries they visited most recently based on safety, and the United States was nowhere to be found.
I just saw the Simone Biles story. That is for the news segment. How is that humanly possible? This is going to be a news segment.
Maybe tomorrow.
Conrad sent that to me. I was like, wow.
God is great.